Progression in Terraria can, at times, be quite linear, and the enemies that pose a threat at the start of the game quickly become punching bags you destroy in a single hit. But what if every time you killed an enemy, all future iterations of that enemy will be buffed? Defense, offense, health, all of it. Well, we're going to see what happens when just such a thing occurs. But not only that, after every boss, the world will be changed in some way forever, and every mob has a random chance of having a random deadly effect on it. Oh, he has crazy knockback. Oh, well, now that we got him cornered here, we'll be ouch, fine. Oh, there's a miniature, a miniature blue slime. I did not even notice that. The same size as the pink one. With all these changes, we're going to have to give myself a fighting chance by adding an enchanting system for me that levels up my weapons as I use them. Who will become more powerful faster? Let's find out. Somehow, there's already 2 pink slimes. I've never seen that before. That aside, the few slimes we've killed happen to drop an enchantment. You can pause if you want to read its effects, but we can't equip it until we get an enchanting table. I need to figure out how to make this table. Does anybody know how? To the right is a corrupted desert where we can collect some cactus. We get full cactus armor and learn that the enchanting table requires a workbench and torches as part of its recipe. It's a weird recipe is what I'm really trying to get at. Also, it turns out I'm going to have to upgrade this thing periodically, and let's just say it took a hot second to figure out how this thing worked. We head back underground and find some Hermes boots. This is also a great time to point out how the mobs are becoming more powerful. I've killed maybe 1 or 2 red slimes so far. Red slimes in hard mode expert difficulty have a max health of 70, but this red slime has 72. Plus, there's the more hidden defensive and offensive stats, and every time I kill one, this number will continue to go up. I returned home though before this new NPC I didn't know about called the Witch appeared. I didn't see a shop option, but she does have a curse option. What does it do? I don't know and couldn't figure it out. All I know is that I wanted to try and curse something because that sounds fun, but was not able to. It's about time to explore more of the surface though, and we haven't seen what's on the left side, and it's just another corruption. Corruption is the first biome on both sides. That's the absolute worst world spawn if you ask me. This is not making a basic surface exploration very easy. Get away! I'm just trying to cross the corruption! And with every failed attempt to cross the corruption, we kill a few more enemies and make it even harder to cross in the future. So if we're not confident, we should instead work on finding our own cave in an area we know we can explore. Heckin' chonker! Have we found Prince Slime? The heckin' chonker. This sounded like a great idea, but my mining trip was not breaking into any caves at all, so maybe finding something on the surface is actually the way to go. And with a little struggling, I was able to clear the corruption on the left side to find a living tree. Wow. How far does this go? Keep going. Aww. Dude, that's so deep. What the heck? Why do I get so many weird worlds? I'm not trying, chat, I swear. Ooh, minecart track. Yes. Just keep going. What is this? Chat, is it going to go to the ocean? Is it oh, dude. That's like a quarter of the world. It's this far off from the ocean. What the heck? Didn't really get anything useful from the trip other than a finch staff and a boomerang we immediately crafted into an enchanted one, which means it'd just be appropriate to give it some enchantments. In the simplest sense, I pick up enchantments from chests and enemies, and the more I use a weapon, the higher its level. The higher its level, the more and stronger enchantments I can place on it. And these are not just for weapons, but armor and accessories as well. Now we glow. That's really handy. Well, oh, for 3 seconds every 15 seconds. Oh, it's so random. I'm a flashlight that's low on batteries. We get a clown bottle, and at long last, we find some life crystals to increase our maximum health. We craft silver armor and find an enchantment that gives 3 seconds of Spelunker Potion effect once every 15 seconds. This desert pyramid has a flying carpet, and I explore the tundra a bit for no particular reason. Yeah, hi, ooh, Oh, they were duplicating, and then they stole my projectile. Oh, come on. There's this one random modifier type called Black Hole, which makes it so all projectiles are sucked into the location of whatever mob has that modifier. It's the single Worst thing to encounter, especially with swarms of bats, but no big deal. We need a desert fossil or two to get the first upgrade to the enchantment table, or enchanting table, and we got what we needed from the mob drops without needing to find an extractinator. So we added a few more enchantments, and I spotted this one that turns any weapon's damage into mage damage, with only a minor loss in attack power. Guys, you better believe we're going mage class today! We're going to work on finishing our elevator and hopefully find more life crystals, but along the way I stumbled across 1, 2, 3, 4 web-covered chests in close proximity to each other. How is this possible? I have no idea. Most importantly, one of them has a suspicious looking eye, so we can get to slaying our first boss and get our first world mutation. Oh! I have no idea what time of day it is. I sure hope it's not almost day. Oh, wait, hold on. These servants are actually starting to get dangerous already. They're actually taking some hits to kill. The eye is moving really weirdly. Oh, it's gone, that's why. And that's why you always make a watch, kids, which I didn't do, and instead started searching for Sky Islands. And something to remember with bosses, they scale the same way as the rest of the mobs do, so failure to defeat a boss with minions only means the next time the minions are going to be even stronger, and trying to farm a boss, well, the boss will have more health, and all that as well. So we're going to want to make sure to kill him this time. Oh, why is he so big? Wait, what? Oh, he got a modifier. Oh, this is even bigger than the large mobs run. What the heck? Thankfully, the size increase was not that big of a deal, and the live stream chat voted for the encumbered mutation, meaning if we're holding too many items, then our movement speed will be greatly decreased. How much is too much? Basically 2 full rows of my inventory, including the hot bar. Oh yeah, I'm already moving slower. What the heck? Oh guys, why? Went straight to King Slime. We don't have to fight him, but I like the slime mount. Oh, did he just heal? Oh, it's a regenerating King Slime. Oh great, he's gonna regenerate health. Love that. There's definitely going to be a level of random danger any boss could pose, especially those who have lots of minions. Who is to say what kind of random power a boss could have that make them much more difficult to defeat? King Slime fell and the world was mutated so that all enemies with fighter AI now have 20% more health. There's a lot of enemies you wouldn't think would be impacted by this, but the most important ones of note are the Goblin Army, Skeletons, Zombies, Antlions, and many event and pillar enemies. We're going to need to improve our damage significantly as we go along. No Slimy Saddle was in the treasure bag, so I fought it again and was presented with another mutation. This was not part of the plan. I played this mod before, but it's only supposed to happen after the first time you defeat a boss, or at least that's how it worked before. But now it would seem that it happens every time. So now farming bosses comes at the risk of massive buffs being given to the world, and this time, chat chose Nature's Wrath, which causes up to 3 colored enemies to spawn when a critter is killed either by me or an enemy. I blew up a couple orbs to try and get the Goblin Army to spawn, or at least, get the process started for them to spawn, and was starting to make housing when I learned how the new mutation is going to work. Oh! That's so rude! Wait, what? I thought I had to... Wait, did I kill a worm? We only need a little more platinum for full armor, and remember those 4 web chests we found earlier? We found 2 more. Oh, hi. Hello. Goodbye. We have full platinum armor now, and I've noticed this new thing I guess I picked up somewhere along the way called Cursed Essence. For as long as it's in my storage, it just about doubles spawn rates. I didn't really realize this yet because they are in an invisible inventory you can only access when using the enchanting table, so you could totally pick one of these up on accident and get double the spawn rates without even realizing it. You also can't even get rid of it unless you have access to an enchanting table. I don't like this effect. On the bright side, I also learned that I can make upgraded enchantments with the ones that I have. Demonites, and these soul-like things that enemies drop. And these curses they drop, those come from enemies shooting these weird black things at me, which inflict me with random and various debuffs, while the mob usually also has a greatly increased health bar over their other counterparts, and you might have noticed it's a slime rain, which of course is a major problem. King Slime would result in a world mutation, and killing lots of slimes will make slimes more powerful. A good bit of it was avoided by searching the Sky Islands, which happened at Fledgling Wings, but this didn't stop me from spawning King Slime, with my only recourse being to run away and teleport home. Thankfully, this despawned him. Could I have logged out? Sure, but that's lame. Let's take down the Eater of Worlds now. We have Chester's Arrows and a Demon Bow. Should be good enough, or so I thought. Oh, what the? All right, we got the Jank Worm, the Jank Eater of Worlds. Oh, and there's something that's, okay, looks like we got it, okay. What is why is all of this part invisible? Also, I wonder if each chunk I destroy actually alters its damage output, because this is doing crazy damage. Oh my goodness. Oh, the Eater of Worlds is going to be a real big issue. Thing is, each segment of the Eater of Worlds is like its own entity, meaning every segment can have its own modifiers. Each time I break a segment, there's potential for a new modifier to be applied to the segments that were broken, it would seem. And more devastating than that, every chunk I break increases the stats of every future chunk, and with how many chunks this thing has, every failed battle increases the worm's strength exponentially. Right now, enchantments seem to be doing almost nothing for me. At least nothing that'd make a noticeable difference. There's even this function called infusion that I still don't understand, and so won't try to explain, but some people insist it does something. My only hope is to make a larger arena on the surface and hope for the best. Oh no, dude, I'm getting so cursed. Oh no. Get out of here. What? Wait, I'm not taking any damage. Oh, now I'm taking damage. Ah. Dude, I have a banner. What is this? And only some of them are hurting me? Oh, dude, this is terrifying. They are not stopping. Why won't they die? Took several minutes to stop the Eaters of Souls so I could get to the Eater of Worlds, which you may notice has a health bar a bit beyond what it's supposed to, and all my projectiles are being sucked in by a black hole whose origin cannot be found, making basically every weapon I have entirely useless until it was eventually found and destroyed. But that didn't make much of a difference in the end. Oh. Okay. Yeah. Wait, it has more health than it started with! Did it have more? No. But it still had more than a vanilla Eater of Worlds would normally have at the end, and I noticed that its health bar would occasionally go up, indicating that either it was healing or chunks were duplicating, making the worm essentially infinite. No, I did just have a thought. What if we just used a bunch of dynamite against the Eater? Before I can try that, I have to take out the Goblin army, where a single archer ended up duplicating, turning the entire army into a living volley. Oh, dude! Oh, I do not like seeing like 30 arrows shot at the same time. One archer versus 100. Who would win? Okay, maybe I'll just have to outdo them in range. We'll kill them a little bit slower, but at least we'll get there. Now we can clear them. There we go. Oh, and exploding ones. There we go. Oh, dude, the chunks. The juicy chunks on that one. With dynamite in hand, we started the Eater of Worlds fight, but then I realized that I actually turned off the modifiers on the worm after the last battle, since I determined it wasn't possible. But now I wanted to see if I could do it with dynamite, so I started with 0 modifiers, but it will gain them as we battle, which was going fine until this happened. Oh, now it's duplicate. Oh, okay. Nope, it's impossible. If that can happen, it's impossible. Nope. No! The battle was still incredibly difficult due to each chunk always becoming stronger than the last and having already been upgraded considerably, but removing its ability to duplicate made this battle possible, and with it defeated, the bullet hell modifier was added, so now every single entity in the underworld will randomly shoot fireballs, which of course had to happen shortly before we go to fight the wall. We're not there quite yet, but we did get full health and finish the Elevator in preparation for that upcoming battle. We also needed a couple Hellstones to upgrade the enchanting table, which is finally starting to get a bit more interesting. All the enchantments that I have can be upgraded into more powerful variants, but most, if not all of them, require topaz, and so I figured I'd grab a quick extractinator from the desert to make it easier to obtain topaz that has been strangely absent in my world. And yet, despite searching through well over half the desert, I could not find a single extractinator. which could be a huge problem. In between, we mined a meteor, and I figured out that the infusion mechanic on the enchanting table allows me to replace the armor set bonus of one armor with the armor set bonus of another. While experimenting, I ended up placing shadow scale armor set bonus onto meteor armor. Now I have decent buffs to mage damage while also moving fast. Would I rather have an infinite space gun? Yeah, but I couldn't figure out how to remove the infusion, so we're stuck with it. And for whatever reason, I am using meteor armor, but the armor whose set bonus is being used is the one that shows up visually. So despite seeing shadow scale armor, I am actually utilizing meteor armor. We'll have to use this ability much more wisely in the future. There's also another massive problem we've encountered. To make enchantment upgrades, we need 20 Demonite bars per upgrade. Demonites can only be obtained through the rare ore vein, killing the Eye or the Eater of Worlds, but killing a boss has more mutations, and the Eater, although farmable without killing it, runs into the problem of the chunks becoming more and more impossible to kill. For context, an example of an upgrade is making a 2% damage increase go to an 8% damage increase. But because of the mods that I have somehow accidentally made it potentially impossible to empower my weapons. We stopped at the jungle to collect all the treasure and loot down there that I could, which made the Eater of Worlds ever so slightly easier to farm, which at least gave me the Demonite necessary to imbue my Blade of Grass with 8% more critical strike and damage as well as 30% size increase. This is great for now, but we're going to need more upgrades than this to attach to more weapons, and farming the Eater of Worlds won't be possible forever. Oh yeah! Now that's what I'm talking about! For now, we defeat Skeletron without issue and are hit with the mutation of zombies infecting me and causing damage over time, as well as apparently turning me into a zombie when I die. Do I know what this means? No. Let's just hope we never find out. And spoiler alert, we never do. This never comes up again. The dungeon had its usual stuff, and skeletons were crazy strong after that fighter AI buff that had been added, but this was about the time we made a truly game-changing discovery that the witch who'd moved in actually sells enchantments I hadn't seen before, as well as the upgrades we need. They're quite expensive, but this solves our Demonite and Topaz problem because money solves all problems. With these, we could make an enchantment that adds a chance for splash damage, 5.6 damage reduction, and 12% armor penetration, with stat boosts like this being just the tip of the spear, at least in theory. Problem is that I need to level up quite a bit before I'm able to really utilize these things. On the bright side, upgrading gear does not reset levels or enchantments. They get carried over and we're able to transfer levels from one weapon to the next, so grinding more levels won't be too grindy while we continue progressing. With the acquisition of the Aqua Scepter, we have every mage weapon we desire, although this reminds me of that enchantment that turns any weapon into a mage one. So say hello to Mage Boomstick. We're going to need to make sure to transform the Knight's Edge to a mage weapon, but to make a Knight's Edge, I need more Demonite, which might just work because we have a Demon Bow, and once we upgrade to a Molten Pickaxe, we can shimmer both that and the Shadow Pickaxe for enough Demonite to make the Light's Bane. A whole bunch of Scarab Bombs later, and we find the pink liquid mini biome, which, by the way, I have consistently found beneath living trees between the jungle and ocean, usually the one in the middle between them. Sure, you don't always get a living tree out there, but when I do, the shimmer always seems to be below it, so try that next time you're searching for this thing. Relogic, can we add the occasional slime like this? Oh, they have a fun interaction with the Book of Skulls. There was also this random extractinator in a gold chest, which is both great and frustrating. Not sure I need it nearly as much as I thought earlier though. Down in the underworld, we immediately find an obsidian skin potion and get to mining all the hellstone we need, with fireballs being shot at me from all directions, both normal imp fireballs and bullet hell mutation fireballs. Can you tell the difference? No. Can you break bullet hell mutations? Also no. We now have the Molten Pickaxe, Imps, and Fiery Greatsword, allowing us to acquire the Knight's Edge, which we immediately turn into a mage weapon with an increased 8% damage and critical strike and 30% larger size. We're all good to go, so let's start making the Hell Bridge. Oh, hi! Along the way, we find several new enchantments and treasure chests and drop from enemies. There's a lava fishing emblem, oh my goodness. You will not convince me to fish, mod. You will not. There's also a conflict I have with passive mobs. They also shoot unbreakable fireballs, and I bought the book from the zoologist that prevents me from killing passive mobs, so I don't have to deal with the green spirit mobs, or at least not nearly as much. So either I let them live to continuously shoot fireballs, or kill them and have a 50% chance of needing to kill more enemies. Okay, I've gotten 3 fire flowers, I mean, which is, it's nice and all. I would like other weapons too. With the bridge built out more than far enough, we need to make sure we enchant our weapons before the battle. Remember that failure will only make the boss even stronger, and in theory, if we fail enough, we could actually soft lock ourselves. But I'm not concerned with that happening to the wall. You see, one of the enchantments we found in the underworld is Lifesteal, which we applied to the Knight's Edge and Hellwing Bow, which we also enchanted to make into a mage weapon. A Demon Scythe would have been even better, but even with the duplication and giant demons, I couldn't get my hands on one. But that's okay. With our enchantments, we should be able to clear this thing no problem. Oh no! Good thing Hellwing Bow is a mage weapon with Lifesteal. Oh, dude, we're gonna cook with this. We're cooking some fresh wall tonight. I'm healing so much, it's doing so little damage. Oh, easy. The bosses are gonna be easy. Although, when it starts really going fast, then we might have a problem. There we go, easy boys! Now we have 2 more mutations to choose from, Soulbound and Grudge. Which does what now? Oh no. Don't vote for Grudge. We're already increasing their health every time we kill one. We don't need to increase it more. Don't make every individual enemy their own boss. Guys, no, Soulbound is the worst. It is the Grudge? Easy. Of course, Grudge is voted for, so now enemies have their health and damage increased every time we kill them, as well as every time we clear a boss. So now a Lava Slime whose base max health in Expert Hard mode is 220, now has 365 health. And Lava Slimes aren't even close to one of the mobs we've killed the most. And a 60% increase to one of these things means that something like an Eater of Souls is going to be crazy. Thankfully though, we have banners to even the playing field. This clump of demon altars comes in handy for spawning hard mode ores, also gives me a chance to try out the laser rifle, which we gave some basic enchantments, including one that adds fire damage, which is handy. We also encounter a cursed enemy, which reminds me, the cursed enemies I've run into all have greatly increased health on top of debuffing me. That Wraith has 1,800 life. I repeat, that Wraith has 1,800 health. For context, these things usually have 320 health. We add an enchantment to the laser rifle that gives it 12 armor penetration as well as lifesteal, making it actually a pretty good weapon. We have the 3 original hard mode ores, so we collect Kobold and the Mithril, encounter a black recluse that went from nearly 0 health to full and got to work on mining adamantite. We also need to think about what weapons we want to collect that aren't normally mage weapons that can be turned into mage weapons, such as one of my favorite weapons, the dart rifle, which I could maybe have obtained if this stupid archer didn't appear. When we made full adamantite armor, we started reevaluating my armor enchantments and slapped on nearly 12% damage reduction to add on top of the 17% from the worm scarf, an extra 1.5 life regeneration, as well as some extra mobility because the encumberment mutation has been annoying as all get out. For some reason, it impacts my minecart as well. This is literally the fastest I can move on a minecart, unless I clear most of my inventory. And you know all that damage reduction I have? Well, the buff mobs don't care. Why did that do 456 damage? Excuse me? There's 2 things we can obtain in the Underground Hollow. For one, we need Souls of Light to get the upgraded enchanting table so we can enchant our gear even further. We also want Mithril ore to shimmer into Palladium because adamantite armor with the Palladium armor set bonus sounds awesome. What's not awesome is this Rune Wizard. It's a nano Rune Wizard that's cursed and thus has insane amount of health, while also being capable of hitting me with the Impetrification debuff. Wow, that's great. It has 6,300 health, by the way. Normally, it's 1,200. Giant Hollowed Mimic killed us, but at least we got the Palladium armor set bonus on our adamantite armor now. The Light Mummies made it very easy for us to farm for light shards to make a sky fracture. With the increased spawns, wyverns were no issue. Oh, hi. Oh, he's very round, boy. This is also when I decided to give farming for the corrupt mimics another shot. The plan was to simply farm for Souls of Night until I could make the keys needed to summon enough of them manually to get the dart rifle I was after. But then one happened to appear all on its own and was kind enough to drop the dart rifle without any fuss. So we enchanted it to make the dart rifle a mage weapon, and as much as I'd like to add more to it, I found that the materials needed for upgrading and enchanting are not super plentiful. The essences have to be used quite strategically for optimal effect unless I want to keep emptying my bank account to purchase more. I do have one more Mage Swamp enchantment, and I figured that the Onyx Blaster would be a solid choice. It's just that the Dark Mummies wouldn't stop jumping down the corrupt caverns. Onyx Blaster acquired with some extra critical strike damage and lifesteal. Meanwhile, the Dart Rifle received 24 armor penetration on top of lifesteal. Does 24 armor penetration actually do that much? I don't know. I have no idea what kind of defense the mech bosses have or what regular enemies have. All I know is that number is big. Then again, let's put 15% increased critical strike with just 12 armor penetration. That's probably better and sets us up well for the mechs. With an increased arena size and the blessing of this giant teleporting owl, we are prepared to shred the destroyer. We just have to hope we don't lose, or else the pros will become incredibly difficult in the next attempt. And yet, despite keeping this in mind, we found ourselves pretty low on health pretty quickly. How have we taken so much bloody 58 damage? Okay, does damage reduction mean nothing? Does it do nothing? Thankfully, we were able to recover from that bit of shock and awe, but at this point, combining enchantments and the Worm Scarf, I have about 35% damage reduction. How am I taking this kind of damage? But with the Destroyer dead comes a new mutation for the world, and you know how spawn rates have been a problem at times during this run. Well, they're going to get worse, 15% worse to be precise. We don't have any summons, so we'll have to grab some Souls of Light. Oh, hi, ho, ha, here, run, run. Crystal shards are also great for crystal darts. Reforging is also great, and turns out a lot of my accessories don't actually have modifiers of any kind. We just have to take the first moderately good thing we find because most of the money needs to go towards the more powerful enchantments. Basic buffs for the basic dude. Have you ever seen this many enchanted swords in one place before? This is pretty cool, actually. What if there was like a torch god, but it was enchanted swords and hammers and whatnot? I don't know what it'd give you, but I think it'd be cool. Something else that'd be cool is if I could get this whole curse thing from the witch to work, but still, no dice. I want some curses, gosh darn it. I also tried a multi-shot enchantment, but never noticed the weapon shoot a single extra projectile, so I don't even know if that works. Maybe some of these enchantments are doing literally nothing. Skeletron Prime perished without a second thought, and while I waited for the live chat to vote for a mutation, I didn't want to let the night be wasted, and so summoned the twins while this UI was in my face. Oh, we have a miniature spaz! Oh, that might actually be a problem. He might actually now be difficult to hit. Both of these suck. Less health for obvious reasons, but also enemies, including bosses, who have already become extraordinarily tanky. Having the chance to heal for a portion of the damage I deal sounds like a nightmare. I can't see, no! Oh no. There we go, okay. Bad server won the vote by a hair, and with twins dead comes yet another pair of mutations to choose from. This time, either weapons deal 10% less damage or slimes fly. You do realize that might actually be a problem in the jungle with the flying spiked jungle slimes. Thankfully, this time I was shown mercy and the flying slimes won the vote. Now we're able to make full hollowed armor, which allows for a reevaluation of our armor enchantments. With the limited levels we have available, we can still increase our regen by a little bit, damage reduction by 16.8%, and some other stats by a very small amount. But the hollow armor was all I could make until we upgrade to glorified armor. See, I can't farm the mechs unless I want to risk a potentially devastating world mutation. So all I have hollowed bars for is the armor. Once we make glorified armor, however, I can shimmer the hollowed armor and actually make some weapons and stuff. Glorified, the day's fine. Sweeter than a cherry pie. Was mining for glorified a simple task? No, far from it. The enemies are buffed to a stupid degree. Want proof? Like, did you just see how much damage those bees did? Those regular bees just did 38 damage to a guy with 30% damage reduction. They just murdered moss hornets. Once we had enough for glorified armor though, we could get the bars to make a few weapons of choice like a magical harp with 12 armor penetration and lifesteal. As generally mediocre as this weapon can be, 12 armor penetration could make it a beast. But the flamethrower is what this world will truly want to fear, just a little bit later, when I'm able to actually enchant it. Back in the jungle, we try to find life fruit, but there's hardly any of the stuff growing down here for some reason. See, that's more appropriate damage. 19? That's normal. That's normal with my damage reduction. Bees do more damage than a rock golem. Why? I turned my focus to making a Plantera arena near a bulb I found. Only thing is that since regular mobs are more dangerous than most of the bosses, rather than making a massive open arena where they can spawn and kill me on repeat like they have in other runs, I'm thinking I'll make a small arena for the first phase and then a horizontal tunnel for the second. I never tried this strategy before, but I know I hear people talk about some sort of tunnel strategy with Plantera. This brings us back to the flamethrower. It's one of my favorite weapons to use against Plantera, and with my enchantments, we just might turn this thing into the ultimate weed killer. We change it to mage class, of course, and add some lifesteal, but there's also an enchantment called One for All that I've upgraded. I've tried using it several times before, but it's quite expensive to equip, so I haven't actually used it until now. It's a little unclear exactly what it means in the tooltip, but what I interpret it as saying is that hitting an enemy has a 36% chance of hitting other nearby enemies as well. It only activates on the first hit from a projectile, so it's best with weapons with high firing rates. It does come at the cost of a very minor debuff in attack speed, but in second phase, I think it'll shred Plantera. This enchantment is basically the ultimate crowd control. Just look at what it does to these moss hornets. The dying part. Here, the pirates stopped me the moment before I used the Pylon to return to the jungle to fight Plantera, so I got to try this thing again to tear through a pair of duplicated Flying Dutchmen. But notice that she's doing almost no damage to us because of our damage reduction, because bosses are actually not that big of an issue. Alright, this should absolutely cook her. Emphasis on should. She's actually not taking as many hits as I would like her to be taking right now. Please take more hits, Plantera. And we're already at the end of it. Okay, and there's hornets. Okay, come on. You can still do this, you can still do this. I shouldn't have stopped. Come on. Just a little more, Whew! All enemies now have a 10% increase in their armor, which, all things considered, with all the armor penetration I have, probably evens out, or doesn't actually make much of a difference. I haven't shown much of the harp yet, but it absolutely carried while in the dungeon. Oh, they're everywhere. Oh, it's shooting fast. Whoa. Inferno Fort. I'll take it. Thank you. I never did find climbing claws, and I ain't fishing for them at this point, so with the Inferno Fork acquired, all I needed here was enough ectoplasm for Spectre armor. The Inferno Fork replaced the flamethrower, taking the flamethrower's One for All enchantment, as well as a bonus for increased projectile speed. When I made Spectre armor, I reevaluated what I could do with all the levels and decided to upgrade the enchantments even further. They are stupid expensive, but 2 of the 5.6% enchantments for increased damage reduction were able to be upgraded to 7% each, and I found another one called Godslayer that gave a 5% true damage boost based on enemies' max HP. Now, I'm not entirely sure what true damage means. Pretty sure it means it ignores defense or something like that, but this enchantment alone could even the playing field, making the enemy's constant increase in health basically meaningless. If only it didn't cost a ludicrous amount of levels to equip, so I couldn't. For now. Clearing the jungle temple was no easy task. Killing Golem, however, a walk in the park. This time, we ended up reducing our health by 15%. We have 403 health now. Love that. Thanks, chat. With potions still active from Golem, we took on Cultist. The Inferno Fork isn't exactly the best weapon for this fight, but Plantera dropped the Venus Magnum that, once turned into a mage weapon, was a suitable alternate. The battle was pretty easy all around, but apparently certain projectiles are much more important to dodge than others. What? 180? Are you kidding me? On the bright side, the dragon the cultist spawned dropped a bunch of essence that allowed me to equip the God Slayer enchantment onto the Inferno Fork. There's also one very simple upgrade I remember I could do. See, with Spectre armor, you always have to choose a headset, either for healing or the damage stat bonus. The healing hood gives almost no stat bonus, just a little armor. The damage mask gives a damage and mana boost, and a reduced mana usage. With the infusion ability that we use to give the palladium set bonus to adamantite armor, I could add the damage mask stats to the healing armor set. This isn't that broken, but the healing hood still reduces damage by 40%. So by doing this, we now get the healing bonus while also bringing that reduced damage from 40 to 30% while also being able to use our weapons for much longer. Making sure to pay extra attention to the projectiles, the cultist fell and boss health and damage increased by 10%. Thanks! Now Moonlord is 10% more tanky. He also heals when we hit him. Oh dear. With Nebula Pillar destroyed and a heavily enchanted Nebula Arcanum, I'm thinking bosses don't stand a chance against us. And to prove it, I absolutely shredded the Empress. And by that, I mean I did crazy damage, but also forgot mana regen potions. And so although I had great damage, I was only able to periodically take advantage of it. Regardless, Empress died, and of course she had to for the sake of obtaining a soaring insignia. Now either we'll be hit with a permanent bleeding debuff, or all shops will become a bit more expensive. But the vote didn't matter because while I worked on enchanting the insignia and waiting for the chat to vote, I accidentally misclicked. Well, inflation was added. Sorry guys, I accidentally got inflation. We took down a tiny Stardust Pillar before going to kill Fishron once in the hopes of getting a lucky Fishron wing drop. Oh my goodness, he is getting absolutely shredded. He hasn't even had the chance to fire off a tornado yet. Oh my goodness. The damage is insane. And one, there we go. Oh, these are very similar ones. Grievous Wounds prevents me from healing passively, but that's fine. I have a stupid amount of lifesteal. No Fishron wings, by the way, but I also randomly have more essence than I know how to spend. I could literally enchant almost anything for any price if I had Amber, which I don't, but I could add some more enchantments, and ultimately, they didn't really matter. It's just weird that the pillars is where I suddenly have a massive surplus in essence, and I can enchant anything I want. It's been pretty evenly split thus far, forcing me to make choices and grind, but now I can do anything as I head into the final battle. Got to make a vortex beater, but it's fine, chat. Oh my goodness, we've already almost melted that eye entirely. Oh, this is going to be so easy. Oh, we cleared this, chat. Thanks for participating, but this is not going to take that long at all. Moonlord was the easiest boss of them all. So long upgrading enemies. In the end, my upgrades were much stronger than yours. But if you want to see what it was like trying to beat the game while my enemies were evolving and I was left in the cold, not being able to upgrade anything at all, you should check out this video right here.